Alright guys, I'm back. Well, sorry about that. I didn't know the music was going all this time. I apologize. That was a very intense long best of 5 with a lot of yapping. But we're gonna run it back. Our final series of the day, so we're gonna make it count. These two have a history of playing very long best of 5s against each other. I'm excited for it. Hope you guys are ready. Top right side, it is the man who, honestly, I think should have lost against Mana. But instead, he's in the Upper Bracket Semifinal. It is BASILIsk ShoWTimE. This is the same map that we just closed out our previous best of 5 on. Tourmaline. I like Tourmaline. I'm fond of it. Bottom left side, he played very good yesterday. He was the only one who had a very convincing victory, I would say. That was somewhat one-sided. Which is sad for the neutral viewer, but it's great for the Basilisk and Reynor fans. It is Reynor. This map looks great for mech. I think Gumio tried to play mech on this map. Gumio tried to play mech in both games, and I believe they played on this map. I think this was game 1. Reynor was just really good. Game 2 was a little bit closer on Winter Madness, but I still don't think it was all that close. This is a strong start for ShoWTimE, guys. Finds an opening, kills 3 drones. That's pretty damn good. ShoWTimE already finding more success in the opening minutes of game 1 than Gumio found yesterday with multiple Hellions. Not a single attempt, but multiple attempts. The Banshees in game 2 did okay, but that was kind of it. So ShoWTimE played his opening match today against Mana. Reynor played yesterday against Gumio. That's how we got here. This is where we are. Reynor does snipe a probe. It's not much, but it's honest work. Relatively standard double oracle coming out of Maur. Reynor can obviously play this out in many different ways. I think this is a good map, by the way, for like some of those Lambo builds that I often refer to. And when I think of Roach, Ravager, Link, Queen, Aggression, I can only ever think of Dare Julian. I think this map suits it. I think some of the maps are not going to be that good for that stuff. I think this is a map that, in general, we'll see a little more Zerg aggression than we'll see on other maps. ShoWTimE is going to go Resonating Glaive Adept. I didn't really expect that. But he is going to go for Resonating Glaive. ShoWTimE might find a tiny opening here if he really wants to, but it's risky obviously with this 4 there. And he decides against it. Does have a few more adepts. I kind of like this move out, by the way, because normally if they move out with 3 regular adepts like this, it is unlikely that they go for Resonating Glaive, so it's quite smart. And it also pushes back the creep a little. Reynor might just drop a new creep tumor immediately, but still, good effort by ShoWTimE. "54 workers across the board, and the first roaches are on the production tab." So even though I feel like for Reynor it would have been tough to figure out that this is adepts, he is going to see it now. He sees extra adepts in the third. He sees extra adepts being warped in, and if he wasn't 100% certain, he's definitely very certain now. We do not have an easy wall off in the natural. I'm a little worried, but let's see. That's a lot of adepts. I feel like the bare minimum, ShoWTimE can get a cancel on this hatchery, because I don't think Reynor can bring that many units that far forward. If he does that and the adept shade does finish up, he's always going to take a lot of damage. Oh, Resonating Glaive Adept into Zealot Charge, by the way. So much energy on these oracles. Can they find a place to use it? Oh, we can get 1 drone. Maybe we'll get 2 or 3 here. Yeah, could have gotten more. But ShoWTimE is clearly trying to preserve a lot of these gateway units that he built. Knowing that he's already done economic damage by forcing Reynor to make so many units. But Reynor in the end does keep the 4th hatchery alive, and he's even building a 5th. The lair is so late, by the way. Did we forget the lair? What happened? Incredibly late lair tech. Or was that just because we took some economic damage? A little surprised to see that, but hey, we have a lot of hatcheries at least.
Game paused.
First we had Reynor hitting us with a little pass. It is now ShoWTimE who's hitting us with a little pass. Game 1, by the way, is played on US West. I don't know if you guys saw that in the lobby, but I did not mention it yet. So I assume game 2 we're going to play on Central. I'm just gonna use this tiny pause opportunity to close my window because I'm freezing over here. I'm cold. Yes, you can.
Game resumed.
Reynor is in Korea. Reynor has an apartment in Korea. He's got his PC in Korea. He will be in Korea for at least a little while longer. I don't know how long he's planning on staying there, but he spent a lot of time over in Europe after the Esports World Cup just to spend some time with friends and family and chill a little bit, hang out with the puppies. But he went back to Korea, I'd say, around a month ago, maybe like early October is when Reynor went back, so he's been there for a month now. ShoWTimE is building Colossus. I kind of like it. I've always felt that Colossus have more potential in this matchup than a lot of people give it credit for. And especially since Reynor had a very late lair. Obviously, a late lair means late hive as well. Colossus, their biggest problem in general are hive tech lurkers or ultras or vipers, but none of those things are gonna make it to the battlefield. So I actually think Colossus is very smart here. ShoWTimE is just playing a strong game. Everyone always thinks it's magic. You guys have never heard me say anything about magic. I've seen me open magic cards. I know nothing about Magic the Gathering. There are a few cards that I would love to have, because they have cards that are related to Hachiko, the loyal dog. I'd love to have that Magic the Gathering card. If any of you guys have it, sell it to me. I'll pay top dollar. Reynor is gearing up for some aggression, but I don't know how I feel about Roach, Hydra, Link, Bane, Lair Tech aggression against Colossus. If we get a very sick engagement, perhaps. Like 87 drones is a lot, but I'd love to see an infestation pit. I'd love to see a hive. Without it, it's going to be hard, but Reynor is going to try. Let's see Immortal count that too. So maybe the Roaches can kind of tank for a little while and can allow the Hydras and Banes to do their thing. Good job by Reynor activating the Stasis Trappy. We're gonna go for it, guys. This is a big moment in this first game. So far it's been very passive, but this is where Reynor is absolutely sending it. I like ShoWTimE's army. I like ShoWTimE's position. Let's see if he can keep the core units alive. One Colossus takes a lot of damage, but ShoWTimE, of course, is going to micro it back. The Archons are disappearing, though. And ShoWTimE with a slow warp in here. That's not great. Two Immortals very low on HP, but he saves all of them, man. Fantastic micro by ShoWTimE. Saves an Archon on 10 HP, saves an Immortal on 20 HP, saves a Colossus without its shields. Very well done. Now an 1800 resource difference between the two. Tasteless with the raid. Welcome everyone. I did not see the results yet of RSL. I was watching a little bit in the beginning. I saw State and Sturgeon opening the show. I saw some highlights of that crazy Trigger and Beyond game. That was like 30 something minutes. Other than that, I did not see anything. This is the final series today that we are covering in the Kung Fu Cup. This tournament will continue tomorrow. This is Upper Bracket Semifinals. We just casted Cure against Classic, which was a fun one. And before that, we saw a PvP between ShoWTimE and Mana. Stasis Wrap activates, freezes up a couple of the Banes. It's very chaotic. So far, everything today has been kind of chaotic. We're going to go for a tactical recall here, and that should be good enough to save this Nexus. It is very close. Maybe the Banelings actually could kill this Nexus, guys. Well, the Lings are going to go for it as well, so this Nexus will fall. Banelings will crash into the Protoss army. What will it get? Nothing. Well, with Hive done, and the first Viper on the way, and the Lurker then on the way, Reynor being a 5-base Zerg. Kind of painful for ShoWTimE. Maybe it would have been better for ShoWTimE, guys, not to rebuild that fort. Just send it. Not a big stasis. It's honestly starting to feel like it a little bit, which is obviously a good thing, but also makes watching and covering and observing a bunch of games a lot more draining. I've seen very few games lately that are just like, we just build up, first attack, game over. We obviously had the Hellion drop earlier today. That was a bit of a short one. Outside of that, there's a lot of interactions across 15, 20, 25 minutes. And games taking unexpected twists and turns over and over again. Yeah, the last game between Cure and Classic was short, you're right. We cut the SCVs. Lurker count currently at 6. The Vipers are here. I don't know if ShoWTimE has any High Templars to feedback. Doesn't look like it. 0 High Templars on the map right now. Zealots are not going to be able to get much done in the center. That's more than enough Zerg. Does Reynor have a Dreno Glance? No, but it's on the way. From here on out, guys, I think it's incredibly important that ShoWTimE at any given moment has 2-3 High Templars with his army. He doesn't have Storm. Does not matter. He needs feedback. Without feedback, I think it's going to be very hard to get much done here. He fires up Storm, so that's obviously a good sign. This is where Reynor could maybe take a good fight. There really is nothing that's going to easily snipe these Vipers. Seismic Spine's done. Adaptive Talon's on the way. RSL continues tomorrow, right? Is that correct? Tomorrow is a new group. Who's playing tomorrow? I took a look at the groups before, but I don't know exactly who's playing tomorrow. There's a lot of Lings and Banes, guys. Normally Zealot Archon pretty freaking good against Lings and Banes, but in these numbers it's not a very fair fight. Reynor really taking full advantage of his very fast mobile army. That's a kill on the Nexus 2. 400 minerals down the drain. Reynor has played really good so far in the Kung Fu copy. Yesterday looked good. Here in game 1 also looks very good. I was about to say I would really love some Plasma Shields upgrade on the side of ShoWTimE, and he is getting that. Max Specs is on. Solar was in this group as well today, right? So it was Solar, Bonnie, Max Specs is on. 3001 Terran tomorrow. Forget who. Classic creator trigger. Ah, tomorrow is a trigger day. Let's go. We'll definitely have that open on the side. I will be watching Kung Fu Cop again tomorrow as well, but of course we'll have Trigger his games open. Reynor getting a Nidus, and the Great Aspire is being upgraded too. Getting rich. No +2 melee yet. I'd kind of love to see +2 melee. Yeah, that is a crazy amount of Archons. It is going to be hard. Like, it's funny because obviously there's a great answer against the Lynx, but I don't feel there is the best answer against Lurkers. Now, the Immortal count is okay, but it's not overwhelming. This Nidus could become a real problem, by the way. ShoWTimE does not want to see this Nidus come online in his natural, but we are not reacting to it. This is going to be annoying. Big storm landing on a lot of the Lynx. Lynx hold position in the middle line. Banelings are going to come into play as well. There's a good chance that ShoWTimE for the second time is going to lose this Nexus. The army is here, but that means that we are in danger of losing our natural. Couple Zealots is not going to do it, guys. Reynor's going to move the Lurkers a little bit further forward. That's cute. Reynor even mind. Look at that, guys. We're burrowing and unburrowing individual Lurkers to save them against the Zealot. ShoWTimE is just completely giving up on this area, but there's a bunch of violence there. There's a Robo, of course, there's a Nexus. It's a pretty risky sacrifice. It's a lot of High Templars. Lurker count 15. That could honestly make their way up. Colossus from the low ground. We need a downtown Colossus card, guys. 1 out of 1 signed by Parting. That's what we need. This is not the fight for the Lynx. As long as the Archons and the Colossus are here, obviously we don't want to commit to anything. 8 workers did go down immediately as soon as this Nidus came online in the main base. I wonder if Lurkers from the high ground here could attack probes on the low ground. I think that's the thing as well. Mothership does come out. 10 more Lurkers on the way for Reynor. I bet ShoWTimE is asking himself, how can I stop defending and how can I start attacking? And I don't have the answer. I don't know if ShoWTimE has the answer. Reynor is gonna try to take a 6th base on the left side. Nice little storm here, but no detection on the side of ShoWTimE, at least not here. Got 2 observers, one of them on the top side of the map, one of them with the main army. He's got detection now. Does ShoWTimE want to jump on all these lurkers? Loses High Templar with a lot of energy. That cloaks his entire army. Reynor now can't really see the ground army. That's very annoying. Oh, these lurkers did not get any shots off. That's a painful one. Great victory here for ShoWTimE, that's for sure. Can Reynor get something done on the other side of the map? It's a lot of lurkers. Can the Zealots and the Archons win this fight? I kind of doubt it, to be honest. I think that's a few too many lurkers. Obviously, some of them are hurt. Lings in the 3rd, Lings in the natural. It's too much chaos. We're just going to focus on the main army of ShoWTimE. We know Reynor is fucking up some shit on the other side of the map. Can he also eventually clean up this Protoss army? Is Reynor going to try to eliminate ShoWTimE, guys? Is there a world where he can eliminate him? Nah, that's not going to be that easy. Plenty of buildings left for now. A couple of Corruptors pop, but they get picked off immediately. At this point, I do wonder, where's Reynor's main army? Does Reynor have a main army? Because it feels pretty scattered. Oh, we got some lurkers, we've got some Corruptors. I don't know if we can fight this. I generally don't know if we can fight this. And a duck does land, that's -1 Tempest, but I don't think we can run into this. Forge with +3 is gonna get sniped. That's obviously a lovely little pickup. Reynor loses the original 3rd base, loses the natural, and he's about to lose the main. And Reynor just seems to take that L and says, alright, there's not a whole lot I can do about it. Corruptors are gonna maybe try to P on this Nexus. After a recall or whatever got used towards the top side of the map. I don't know how those units got there, but I guess that was right before the Nexus died. But that does mean that the most important base for ShoWTimE is incredibly exposed. So ShoWTimE has no mining. Well, he has this base. Tiny bit of mining. Reynor down 30 army supply. Viking, excuse me, Viper count is 2. Lurker count 7. Ultras on the way, but no kindness plating. Keep that in mind. So these Ultras are nowhere near as tanky as they could be. Yeah, Reynor jump on this army, guys. 2 High Templars, 4 Archons by themselves. Ultras is so stuck. ShoWTimE is gonna prioritize taking out this base. 9 more Lurkers on the way. Not a Nexus falls. Is ShoWTimE now completely out of bases? Yes. ShoWTimE no longer has a Nexus, and ShoWTimE does not have money for a Nexus. So, this is it. 20 minutes into Tourmaline, this is it for ShoWTimE. Every game in Kung Fu Cup so far, not every game, but almost every game, 80% of the games have been weird, hectic, chaotic. Good luck attacking into this. How many Tempests do we have left? 0. Oh no, that's bad. So, how much detection do we have? 3 observers. Is ShoWTimE his best chance? Half the army on the left, half the army on the right. Observer right here. F2A move? Is that the best chance we have? I kind of think it is. And the longer we wait, the worse it gets. Because ShoWTimE does not have any money. And ShoWTimE will never get any money. Does kill a lurker, so that's nice. It doesn't sound great. I know it doesn't sound great, but we don't really have a choice, do we? It's a shame for Reynor, by the way, that he lost the Ultralisk Cavern before he got kindness plating. These Ultras, they don't do much. They really don't do much. The probes are coming in. Okay, it's the probes on the right and it's the Viper. Great feedbacks. Is there a blinding cloud? Yes, there are multiple blinding clouds. The Ultras are gonna melt. This is it. Is it ShoWTimE's very beefy, sturdy Protoss army? Or is it Reynor, his million gazillion lurkers? It's starting to look like it's ShoWTimE. Do we still have detection? Yes, we do. Reynor pulls the drones as well. Couple of lurkers remaining on the right side. Okay, it's 5, 6, 7. Corruptors getting a lot of shots off. Wow, that was a cent. And we come out of it. 48 army supply apiece. 7 lurkers remaining. ShoWTimE seems like he's just chilling. Waiting right now to get some shields back on the Archons. Get some shields back on the mothership that has shields for days. Reynor does not want to see this army regenerate all those shields. So he's going to go for it. He kills the mothership. Corruptors kill the War Prism as well. Does not really... Got money. Oh my god. And the lair, by the way, guys. The lair survived with 219 HP. Reynor now building 5 drones. I don't know if this is the moment to build 5 drones. ShoWTimE is gonna spend his last few pennies. 3 extra zealots. Says fuck it. By the way, it's so important. Keep an eye on the observers, guys. Keep an eye on the observers. Oh, that's a big Archon shot. That is a really big Archon shot. The observers are so important. Only 1 observer remaining. It's on the left side of this army. If Reynor kills the ops, he wins the game. Reynor sees the observer. Reynor goes for the observer. Gets it. And that means that these lurkers live forever. And if the lurkers live forever, Reynor must win. Right? Maybe run them quickly towards the right side and just start mining here. ShoWTimE has lost every form of detection. What a call by Reynor. Makes another overseer, snipes the obs. Yeah, that's it. That is it. GG after 23 minutes. 31 supply Reynor and his final set of lurkers seals the deal. Oh my goodness. What are these games? What are these games? Whew. It looked at first, when ShoWTimE was fully sending it, I was like, I don't think this is going to work that well. There were a couple of blinding clouds too on the ramp. But then it looked like his army was just not dying. And Reynor's units were actually dying very quickly. That I'd be lying if I tell you that I did not think ShoWTimE was winning at one point. I think he was. Maybe he shouldn't have gone back. Obviously, hindsight is 20/20, 40/40, 60/60. But perhaps since he was already kind of in range of those final lurkers, he should have just kept on going. I don't know. But it was very close. Sick game. The real question is, did any of them know what was going on during the full send? I don't know about that. I was surprised, by the way, that ShoWTimE did not split up his army. That basically he had the probes on the right. It's like, good luck, guys. You got this. And then everything else was on the left. I kind of think a 50-50 split would have maybe gone a little bit better. Yeah, I think splitting the army would have been better. And ShoWTimE normally is fantastic when it comes to engaging lurkers and figuring out how to split up his army. Alright, well that was on US West, by the way. So that was the server that does favor Reynor, who's currently in Korea. Koreans have better ping to US West than Europeans. Game 2 will be played on Central. We are loading into the Old Republic. Well, welcome Tasteless Raiders. Welcome RSL Enjoyers. You guys entered like 8-9 minutes into that game. That was quite a game. Round 2.
Round 2. Fight!
Top right side of Old Republic taking the 1-0 lead. We are looking at the main base of the Italian Stallion fighting for Basilisk. It is Reynor. Bottom left side of the Old Republic, we are looking at the main base of the German Protoss fighting for Sentinels. Great first game, it is ShoWTimE. Maybe that previous game, guys, is a bit of a core example on why a lot of the top tier Protoss players don't truly believe in going quick Colossus. Even if at first the Colossus make perfect sense and is good against literally every single Zerg unit that's on the field. It's just so hard to move out. And at one point ShoWTimE clearly had a better army, but he wouldn't kill stuff at the same pace as Reynor would kill stuff. So he feels that it's too scary to commit to any sort of a move out on the other side of the map without getting eliminated. But if you just stay at home, then of course eventually Zerg is going to have a lot of hive-tech units. And once the hive-tech unit count goes up, the impact of the Colossus goes down a little. Perhaps we need another late game Colossus upgrade, guys. The lasers now become blue lasers and deal plus 20 damage against armored units. How do we feel about that? I'm all for more late game cool upgrades. The Colossus with the golden gun. We now one-shot everything. I'm cooking. Yeah, I feel like I'm onto something here, guys. A late game damage upgrade for the Colossus. Or, instead of 2 lasers, 4 lasers. Horizontal and vertical at the same time. Like, bzzz, like in a cross. We call them the Jesus. No. No. There's always a couple of religious folks out there that do not like those jokes. But I like the idea of a vertical and a horizontal laser. A waffle laser. Yeah. People love waffles. That's safe. No one gets offended on waffles. Even if you prefer pancakes, you still love waffles. Let them shoot up. Why not? Disco Ball Colossus upgrade. Full circle around themselves. Murder on the dance floor. And like the laser beams go everywhere. Yeah. We can bring Starcraft back to the mainstream audience, guys. With dancing Colossus and 360-degree lasers. Maybe a non-pro player should weigh in. Yeah, there's room for that. There's room to negotiate about any of these proposals. I'll fight tooth and nail, but there is room. Thank you, Kuba. Thank you, Red Hawk. Double Twitch Prime. 3 minutes into... So, okay. This is what I need to do. Propose ridiculous shit, and you guys support the stream. Alright. Well. I've got more ideas, guys. We're all familiar with the DT hopping on the back of the Phoenix. There's more. Let him cook. Gets a 5th leg. Maybe make it 8 legs. And it now has a melee upgrade too. The Colossal Spider. An armory to make cyclones? No, I don't think that would be very good, mate. Then I'm afraid Terran players are not gonna have a good time against Oracle openings. I don't have any issue with the cycle. I do find the current lock-on lasts a little bit too long. It's kind of annoying. Like once they lock on, you fly away for 3 seconds and it's still taking tick, 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 tick damage. Alright, anyway, game 2. I got a bit carried away, guys. We're theory crafting over there. But I like the idea of some late game Colossus power spikes. I can't imagine anybody would have an issue with this. Reynor, his Zorklings have already killed one adept, and Reynor seems to be really set on trying to get this pylon. Will he get this pylon? That's going to be a really close goal for the initial links, but it was good enough already, even without the reinforcements. It's lore accurate. At this point, the campaign is so old that I don't think anything needs to be lore accurate in multiplayer. That ship has sealed. I feel like if Blizzard wants to protect the lore, they need to start working on a new campaign, some co-op commanders, a new story. For now, I'd say it's a free-for-all when it comes to being creative in multiplayer. Nobody can be bothered by this. Old school stuff coming out of ShoWTimE here. I don't know if you guys always think of Neep as well, but whenever I see Archon drops, I think of Neep, and now I know what somebody's gonna say, but Ronnie, this is not like Neep, because it used to be straight Archons, not Oracle into Archons. This is more like Christiana. I know, guys, I know. I see 2 Archons and a War Prism, I think Neep. I don't care when it happens, I don't care how we got there. It just makes me think of the man who was dubbed the Thunder Shaft by Fear Dragon. Great nickname. No, Neep is not really playing. There was a small chance that Neep was going to attend DreamHack Atlanta last year, but it seems like he was not able to get time off university, so it was a bit of a shame. Makes you think of Statsu Zest. I can see it, but that's because you're a Korean fanboy. It's almost like you live there. I think Neep, because I'm a European or American fanboy. I wasn't living in America in that era, to be fair, so I was casting and watching a lot of Neep. Makes you think Jenny's? I don't think Jenny's has ever made an Archon. He only makes cannons. So Reynor has +2 melee on the way. It is oh, ShoWTimE! Oh my god, no! He lagged. Oh my god, poor guy. I guess he had a lag spike. We are on Central though, so this should be a better server. But this War Prism, guys, is dead. Do you guys think Reynor is a merciful god and lets Demour get away? Now Reynor is sweet. I think Reynor is gonna let that Prism live. I think Reynor is gonna show mercy here. I mean, Reynor can just F2 right click, no? F2 right click. Let it live. No shot. No, Reynor is not somebody that will capitalize on a lag spike. Alright, so just like that. So Reynor is showing even more mercy. Instead of letting it live, he says, I'll let you rehost it. We're gonna resume this one from replay, run it back, and yeah, start that game like 5 seconds before we left. You stand corrected. Reynor is a very sweet guy. He also, like, Reynor trusts ShoWTimE enough to know that ShoWTimE is never lying about something like that, because that's just not within ShoWTimE's personality. He will never do that. Reynor is trusting ShoWTimE that if ShoWTimE says he had lag, Reynor believes him, and then Reynor also knows that ShoWTimE would never lose that prism if he didn't have lag. There are a few Protoss players on the planet that would have paused and said lag there, and Reynor would have said unlucky. Now, I'm not going to mention any names, but I can definitely think of a couple where Reynor would be like, well, that's unfortunate, mate. Well, that's a dead prism now. But ShoWTimE, Reynor respects ShoWTimE a lot. You were definitely unlucky. Yeah, because he wouldn't believe me. Because Reynor thinks that I'm an absolute baboon. So he'll just be like, nah, right, you just lost the war prison. But Reynor also knows me well enough that I would never lie about a lag spike. But Reynor would probably say you would have lost the prison without lag too. And I'd be like, yeah, you're probably right. So I wouldn't lie about the lag, but I would still lose the prism anyway, with or without lag. So, you know, it's fair. Don't throw poor Christianer under the bus. I would never. Christianer is my buddy. Is that the bomber? No, I don't think so. I think it's just somebody who works together with a WTO, and he's a big fan of Bomber. It's just a bit of a tribute. Christiana made Roddy so much money. Not that much, but I can let you know. It's doing alright. I'm trusting Christiana. I'm sticking to the advice. 3 minutes, by the way, it opens. What did Christiana do for me? Plus 98 euros. Thanks to Christiana. Hey. It was more, but it went down a little bit. Yeah. Christiana is good for the finances, guys. What can I say? So no. Not throwing anybody under the bus. Would be kind of funny though if he went from winning tournaments to just observing. I'm sure that happens in a couple of esports. And I don't think that's like a bad transition at all. If you're somebody who was a competitive gamer and you're very passionate about esports and you just thoroughly enjoy being part of the scene, to go from pro gamer to observer is somewhat of a natural transition. Because you obviously know what matters, you know what's important. You probably have like a very good list of priorities in case like chaos breaks out and there are multiple fights happening. So I don't think that would be bad, but I don't think that a Bomber is observing some Kung Fu Cup on the 13th of November, 8 p.m. in the evening. I think he's doing something else, but I'm sure that has happened with some other gamers. If I wasn't so damn good in streaming, I could have been an observer. Wow, guys, you can do it all. All right, we are going to resume this game from replay. Well, it's not quite a replay. Oh, it is a replay. It's a replay for now, and it's live real soon. Oh my god, they hosted the wrong server. Oh no, we're gonna have to. Oh my goodness, they didn't select this server. We're on Singapore. That's actually the worst server ever, by the way. Yes. It's you can't play on Singapore. No. You can't choose server from replay? No, you can. You absolutely can. You do that in the menu. You don't do that in the lobby, but you do that in the menu. And ShoWTimE is wrong, by the way. Like, Singapore is way worse. Unless something changed. I haven't played a game on Singapore in a while. But this used to be the absolute worst server for me. Don't do it, ShoWTimE. It's gonna be pure pain, mate. I think the referee is wrong. No, he can. He can choose server. I think they're wrong. Like, you have to do it here. Gameplay. No, out of game you have to do it. Oh, that's funny. I think... Okay, well, I don't want to intervene because I'm not a referee, and maybe I'm just going to make things more complicated. But I believe that the referee here is wrong. You can... This is going to be so painful for ShoWTimE, mate. Oh my goodness. Playing on Singapore from Europe. Do you guys think I should say something? Because I am like 99% certain you can. But now I feel like I just make it more complicated than it has to be. Yeah, I think it's better for me to wait, right? It's something about know your place in life, and I'm not the referee, so I guess I should keep my mouth shut, but I think he's wrong. And I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's not like we're playing for $1 million over here. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, and obviously if I'm wrong, then it's incredibly annoying and everybody hates my guts. But I'm like 99% certain. I'll let the referee know after the game. What's up with ShoWTimE today? Oh, poor ShoWTimE. First almost loses the prism, now flies an oracle deep into enemy territory. Oh, yeah. Singapore is legit very bad, by the way. I've been playing some games on the Korean server from the Netherlands, and obviously there is lag, but it's not that bad. And I would even say that it's better than playing on, like, let's say, US West. If my bitrate would be 6K, I legit think that playing 4K bitrate on Korea is better than playing 6K bitrate on US West, or maybe even Central. But Singapore is just really bad from Europe. I'm no expert on when it comes to the technology and the cables, but Singapore is awful. Korea is better, yeah, 100%. For me, at least, personally. Maybe for ShoWTimE it's different, but for me, 100% certain Korea server is way more playable than Singapore. Look at Air flexing his new phone everywhere. So rich, this Anya. Couple of zealots are gonna storm. I'm even lagging, by the way, as an observer, just watching this game. I cannot imagine how this feels for ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE might just send it, but he also has a fleet beacon on the way. And if we have a fleet beacon on the way, there's really no need to end this game anytime soon. Plot twist, ShoWTimE wins on Singapore. Actually recently moved to Singapore. It's got 0 ping here. And says, guess who got who, Reynor? You got 70 ping, I've got 0. Hey, Singapore seems like a great place to live. It's a little hot and a couple of scary insects and bugs. But outside of that, seems very safe. It's beautiful. They have an F1 race once a year. Yeah, why not? ShoWTimE has got a mothership. So it's a single Stargate. So yeah, I think that fleet beacon is just for the mothership. We're going to drop in a couple of very early storms, but every single High Templar dies as Lings and Banelings do make it through the front line. We do have a few Zealots that were split off into the natural, and they're going to swipe up some drones, but Reynor's going to answer. It's a little bit hard for me to commentate this when I have lag spikes. Kind of scares me and it takes me out of my rhythm. Reynor going Broodlords here, by the way. ShoWTimE was more commanding there for a split second. In the end, does turn around. Reynor with +2 melee and Adrenal Glands. These Lings are gonna have a field day if they can ever get on top of the Immortals. Extra Archon showing up there at the right moment. ShoWTimE moving the High Templars back, counting down the seconds until he's got Storm. And he does finally have Storm and can maybe drop one more. But Reynor's army is so freaking good. And even if all the Lings have died, now Broodlords show up as well. The final Immortals will fall. I don't think this game is long for this world. Hello, Miko. Yeah, it's Singapore is rough. Fires up a single Tempest now. 7 ultras on the way. I think this one is kind of over. Even if ShoWTimE has 89 probes, the ShoWTimE has a lot of bases. I do think this one is kind of over. Don't even have Blink yet, by the way, so these Broodlords are actually difficult to deal with. Things we don't say very often for 100 points. Broodlords are difficult to deal with. One Tempest is obviously going to change things a little bit, but this is where Reynor is willing to send it once more with his ground army, and a couple of gateway units truly stand no chance against Lings with Adrenal Glands and a bunch of Ultras. I don't know if the Ultras have Kindness Plating. Yes, they do. This game is all over. Even if a few drones are dying to Zealots on the other side of the map, all the probes will fall against Lings, Ultras, Broodlords, and all the other good things in life that Zerg players can work with. And they are rich. ShoWTimE, types GG. I'll let the referee know, even if it's not going to make a difference now. Maybe it will make a difference in the future. Send him a message. Okay. Oh. The player you are trying to whisper is currently not accepting messages from players. Alright, cool. It's like, fuck you, Roddy. Fair. Fine. I'll keep my wisdom to myself. But yeah, I think what you want to do is go to language and region, and then you select whatever server that you want to play on, whether it's Central or East or Singapore, and then you click it here, accept, and if you then host the lobby, it will work. Obviously, if you just have best match or whatever, then it won't work. Roddy in the laundry room? What do you know about the laundry room, mate? What do you know in regards to where the laundry is being done in this place? That's a little creepy, mate. No laundry inside. You're calling it the laundry room. I'm not saying you're wrong. It might very well be the laundry room, but how do you know? We've almost had every corner of the house. Now I just need to go for the full Korean setup and truly start streaming in the kitchen. Reynor on 170 ping now. Central, I doubt he has 170 ping. Sometimes the numbers that are being displayed are not the real numbers. Like earlier I connected to Europe and it said I had 39 ping. I obviously don't have 39 ping to Europe. It's a lot lower. Sometimes I connect to America and it says 200, but then when I'm actually playing a game, it stops at like 110 or 120. So, can you say something in the lobby now? Yeah, I could have also said something in the public chat, but I think we're past it, and maybe it will be a bit distracting for ShoWTimE to know that the referee made a mistake, and it would have actually been better to just rehost again. But whatever, it's in the past. This is only upper bracket. We have lower bracket matches as well. It is just a monthly online copy. No need to make too much drama. In game 3, Ruby Rock in the bottom right side. The man who's been flawless so far in this edition of the Kung Fu Cup. 2-0 yesterday over Gumio. And a 2-0 lead over the German Protoss. It is the Italian Stallion, BASILISK Reynor. Woohoo. Honestly, seems to be a very good patch for Reynor. I feel like Reynor is going to get a little more rewarded for playing Zerg, the way that he's very fond of playing Zerg, with a lot of activity, with a lot of pokes, where it's okay to make a lot of units and try to trade out a little bit. I think it suits him a lot better than the previous patch, and the patch before that one, where Zerg was a little bit more about pure defense forever, and then, you know, get some scary hive tech timings on the board. Top left side, we are looking at the main base of our German Protoss, down 0-2. We'll probably shrug off game 2 as a bit of a nothing burger, and I think that's what it was in the end, being forced to play on Singapore. This is ShoWTimE. Game 1, mega close. Has been the case so often historically when these two play against each other. If you guys missed game 1, I definitely recommend going back into the VOD. It was very chaotic. It was a total mess. Came down to 30 supply against 30 supply at the very end of it. It was really fun. I'd say one of the highlights of the Kung Fu Cup so far, but in the opening round we also had a bunch of incredibly close matches. I wouldn't even say it was the undisputed best game, but it was fun. Close and exciting and competitive. Reynor, when it comes to minor online cups, does like to get a little cheeky sometimes, where he will go for builds that he doesn't truly believe in, but just because he thinks, you know, we're up 2-0 anyway, let's get it over with. I don't know, maybe he's got something else to do, that he will suddenly go for a Link Flood or a Link Bane all in. This is not quite a Link Flood, but he is making a decent amount of links early on. Somebody is lagging, I don't know who it is.
Game paused.
It is ShoWTimE once more. And Reynor says same. I would say same. It's the ref! Unbelievable scenes. First he doesn't know how Battle.net works. Now he's lagging? Service has been real bad. I'm actually, for me it's been the opposite. It's incredibly frustrating when this happens. I had some issues with US West a while ago, and I know that Clem had those issues too. And I believe a few of the other Europeans had issues. But Central works for me, and honestly, even Korea has gotten a lot better. I'm about to sub in as a ref. I feel like Reynor and ShoWTimE have more than enough experience to handle a best of 5 without any refs. Is he the only observer for the KFC? Because that's a bit unfortunate. If he's their main observer, they kind of need him. Alright, guys.
Game resumed.
So Reynor has made a bunch of links early on. I think a little earlier than ShoWTimE is expecting Reynor to make those links. First adept is already on the other side of the map. Second adept is now making its way over. This obviously does mean that there is potential for ShoWTimE to maybe find some more success with his 2 adepts than he normally does. But Reynor can just send these links into the natural now, and that would be incredibly annoying. Reynor could have gone a tiny bit quicker than when he went. Is there a world where he kills the pylon, guys? Is there a world where he kills the pylon before the adept is out? Probably not right now. That doesn't work. If he would have gone immediately, yes. Right now, no. So ShoWTimE is going to try to keep his probes safe, or at the same time find damage with his adepts on the other side of the map. This is maybe not the best probe fight ever. Okay, 3 is painful, but maybe acceptable. Did he lose an adept at home? Yes. Is he going to lose the second one as well? The answer is also yes. Okay, this is now just becoming incredibly frustrating and painful for the man from Sentinels. Yeah, not good. No other way to put it. Oracle flies headfirst into the 2 queens, does activate Pulsar Beam. Reynor with a good save on at least 1 drone. Loses 1 in the end, but Reynor's economy is maybe not as hot as it could have been because of the additional links that he made early on. But obviously, he is able to crank out drones from 3 hatcheries at a time, and ShoWTimE does not have a 3rd Nexus yet. Yeah, it feels like with all of the Reynor his links on the other side of the map, that there should have been a tiny bit more potential on the double adept pressure. Guess we just traded out against a bunch of links, because maybe it was 6 or 8 links. Either way, it wasn't much. Definitely not what ShoWTimE was looking for. Hallo, Zietanier. Wie geht es dir, mein Freund? Oh. What? Oh, we left one behind. For a second there, I thought the oracles were perfectly stacked and I couldn't even see the low HP oracle. Anyway. Like, man, that's trippy. How did that happen? So we've gone for a Resonating Glaive in game 1. What do we go for in game 3? Game 2, I guess we went Zealot Charge. Couldn't really get a whole lot going after that. A disconnect in the rehost. +1 and Zealot Charge. A build that the Koreans are very fond of. It's obviously incredibly good if the Zerg is greedy and they don't have a Roach Warren or they don't have a Bailing Nest. If it's pure Link Queen, like, you can get some amazing fights going with +1 Zealots. So far, it is pure Link Queen. Doing good, mate. Saw a couple of great games. I'm very hungry because I skipped breakfast for whatever reason. And it is good that we are a little bit maybe ahead of schedule, or that we are only doing 3 series today. Since I have some mechanic coming over soon to take a look at this water boiler that's been giving us some headaches. And since that is very close to where my current setup is, it will be nice if I'm done with streaming by the time he's here. So that man doesn't have to feel uncomfortable when he's doing his job. Outside of that, it's been very fun. Straight into Hydras on the side of Reynor. ShoWTimE is just taking a couple of shots on his oracles. I feel like you can really see that ShoWTimE is not having the best time playing today, and that is probably related to the lag or the ping issues that he's currently having. It just kind of looks like a little AFK gaming. Just kind of clicking in some units, not really looking at them. I agree with Lambo. ShoWTimE is not playing his A game, guys. This is not the ShoWTimE we normally see. These are just kind of AFK oracles, chilling, on creep, in the range of queens, not getting much done. And since ShoWTimE didn't go for some sort of an extreme 8, 10, 12 gate Zealot +1 against pure Link Queen, by the time we're now battling, we're gonna have to battle a bunch of Hydras. Maybe there are some storms to work with. Not many storms to work with, and the oracles are very low on HP as well. That's important to keep in mind. Stasis traps, can they buy some time before one gets activated immediately? I mean, if ShoWTimE holds, he's in a really good spot. That did not look like it was in the right spot, but in the end it is. One Archon left behind is going to drain that battery immediately, but at least it stays alive. We still don't have storms, so it really comes down to a mixture of Archons and Zealots. 10-15 seconds away from storm. Then a stasis trap seems like it's going to get activated immediately by a single Zergling. 2 storms, guys. 2 storms, couple extra Zealots. ShoWTimE has bought some time. Might be a good fight for ShoWTimE. If we can land the storms that we are looking for, it might not be that bad. They're not bad, to be fair. And the Archons is still alive. I don't think Reynor is going to kill ShoWTimE here. Not at all, even. Maybe Reynor can trap an Archon. That's not really happening either. Yeah, that in the end was not much coming out of Reynor. Felt like it had a lot of potential, but ShoWTimE did a good job in buying some time, getting extra cannons, batteries. Obviously scaring Reynor a little bit with all the stasis trappies, even if none of them are very impactful. We got some storms out. ShoWTimE holds. Got a pretty good army at this point. Against a man who doesn't have a Bailing Nest, doesn't have a Roach Warren, doesn't have Hive. It looks good for ShoWTimE. But does ShoWTimE have the confidence to actually do something with his powerful army? Does not cancel that cannon, so that's 150 minerals down the drain. Reynor is looking for some multi-prong, looking for a quick cancel on the 4th base. As he is heading towards a Spire. Mudas could be a bit of an issue. Ooh, our Hydras are gonna get smacked here. I'd really love to see ShoWTimE do something with his army. Like, this is a truly powerful army that Reynor is not gonna have a good time dealing with. It is a bit hard to like engage that many Hydras because you don't want to expose the High Templars, drop a storm. We have a Stargate. We could build a Phoenix or 2. In the end, ShoWTimE's defense was just excellent at the third. Never even looked that scary. It was scary in theory. It was scary on paper. But then we just kept every single unit alive forever. Oh, Hero would have already been in the main base of Reynor, let's be honest. Hero would have ran straight through these Hydras. Oracles fly into the Hydras. First one dies, second one dies as well. ShoWTimE's gonna have a really bad time. ShoWTimE is now aware of the fact that BASILISK are out on the map. Warps in a couple Stalkers. They don't have Blink. So it's very difficult to deal with Mutas when you don't have Blink Stalkers. But what he does have is a lot of Archons. And obviously a couple of Storms. And now one Phoenix production at a time. 7 Archons, by the way. That's so freaking many Archons. On the ground, Reynor is gonna have a truly tough time battling ShoWTimE for almost forever. But maybe ShoWTimE's plan is just to kill some Archons and eventually, or Reynor's plan is to kill the Archons and then let the Mutas clean up. Phoenix count still at 1. No shield battery over here in the natural, so this is always going to hurt. Archons and Stalkers making their way over. Phoenix shows up. Should have died in my eyes. Somehow does not die. We do have a couple of Zealots slicing up drones in the top right side. One big Archon shot went down. Reynor could jump on these Stalkers. I don't think that's too scary. You can even kill maybe these Stalkers. There's a Phoenix that popped out, so that's a bit annoying. Phoenixes obviously deal a lot of damage. Reynor turns around and ShoWTimE. You can clearly see, guys, ShoWTimE is suffering from high ping, but he's still in a very good spot here. Reynor needs Banelings, but he's gonna have slow Banelings for a long time. Muta count is crazy freaking high. We're looking at 19 Mutalisk in total. And Reynor just doing whatever he can to keep ShoWTimE at home for a little while longer. ShoWTimE is starting to take some real economic damage. That's a bunch of lings running headfirst into the meat grinder. Very odd game. Zealot's gonna get picked off. The Zealots will get the hatchery though on the top right side. ShoWTimE is actually gonna recall most of them. So the bailing nest is done, but Reynor doesn't really have gas to start bailing speed. Maybe he doesn't want to build bailings. Maybe he just wants to build more Mutas and hope that he can keep ShoWTimE at home. Or hope that he can jump on the army. Magic box the Mutas above the Archons. Kill them one by one. Bait out a couple Storms. And then only fight the Zealots and Immortals at the end. So many Mutalists, by the way. And Phoenix does get healed by the battery, so that's very useful. But his base is in shambles. ShoWTimE has a big army that is getting closer and closer towards the natural of Reynor. I think Reynor can win this fight, because ShoWTimE clearly has a difficult time microing the Phoenixes. The Archons are the biggest problem. Can Reynor now bring home all the units and jump on that army, knowing that ShoWTimE has a whole bunch of Archons at home? +3 gets denied, maybe Blink. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. No, 4 seconds on Blink, and Blink will finish up. The Forge lives and the Twilight Council lives, and most buildings were incredibly low on HP. ShoWTimE now having a good time in the natural of Reynor. Is there a world where Reynor can make something happen? I think Reynor needs to bring all the units home, and he needs to fight his army. Does ShoWTimE have a recall right now? Not yet. Reynor needs to fight his army, and I think it's possible. If Reynor brings everything that he currently has home, he can absolutely fight his army. He's so much damage. He now has less workers than ShoWTimE has. Mutas show up to kill all the Zealots. Recall still not ready. Recall will be ready in give or take 25-30 seconds, but Recall is not ready yet. Reynor is gonna spread the Mutas a little bit. He's gonna bait out some Storms. He's gonna dive on top of the High Templars, dive on top of all the Archons. He's gonna lose some Mutas, but he gets the cleanup. Didn't lose that much, by the way. That was pretty beautiful. 7 Archons remaining. It's not like that was it, guys. There are 7 Archons remaining. And Reynor is down to 16 drones. And that +3 that he not managed to finish off at 22 HP Forge. Lived in the end. A Twilight Council with no HP. Lived in the end. So it got Blink done. Reynor now looking to maybe eliminate ShoWTimE. I don't think that's gonna ever work. A couple of Storms went down. That one Archon is living forever, by the way. Getting some big shots up. And now we have the big old recall. Reynor is wondering how much is it? It's way too much. Can we do something over here? I'll kill every single Phoenix. That's obviously nice. You know, if there is a world, guys, where Reynor would have sniped +3 and would have sniped Blink. Perhaps you could fully drive the Protoss insane here. Since Blink finished up, +3 finished up. I don't think there is a world, and I think Reynor knows that as well. Unless you kill every single probe. There's so many buildings left as well. I have the feeling Reynor will always get eliminated before he even gets close to eliminating ShoWTimE. Let's jump on the Phoenix one more time, but that should do it. ShoWTimE will get one on the board. Reynor is going to lose his first game of the Kung Fu Cup November monthly finals after a 2-0 victory over Gummio and a 2-0 lead over D-Mauer. This one has to go ShoWTimE's way. And Reynor knows it. GG. The streak is over. Timed that one well after 16 minutes. It is D-Mauer who gets one on the board. Despite the fact that things looked a little messy and a little chaotic early on, since the defense against the Hydra push was fantastic, ShoWTimE did a good job in bringing the units over, getting the extra batteries on, buying time with the stasis trappies, and where he had a tiny army at first, that army actually grew into a formidable force, and he had enough. Take a tiny break. I'll be right back, guys. Give me 1 second. Game 4 coming up. For a split second there, I thought I saw something that didn't actually happen. Game 4. We are back on Central. So this should be better for ShoWTimE.
Round 4. Fight!
Bottom right side, the man who just dropped his first mappy in the Kung Fu Cup. It is our Basilisk Reynor. Top left side, we're looking at the main base of D-Mauer, Sentinels ShoWTimE. What Skill is up to these days? Skillis has a full-time job, so he's not able to participate in as many events as he would like to participate in. Whenever he can, he still plays, but basically 9 to 5 Monday, he has to go to the office of Team Liquid very often, so because of that, he can't play in too many things. Oh, suddenly my audio is so weird, I don't get it. It's better. Char is always holding down the fort. Can always count on my Char. Seen a couple of resonating glaive openings today, not directly, but after the oracles. Reynor takes the horizontal expand. This seems to be something that a lot of the Zergs are quite fond of on these new maps. It surprises me, but we'll see if it sticks or not. So hungry. I really shouldn't start streaming without having breakfast. That works well at noon, at 1 PM and 2 PM, but at 3 and 4 PM, I'm losing the plot. And I know that the mechanic is coming soon, so I kinda hope that we're not here for another hour. That's gonna be really awkward. And maybe a few too many coffees. Caffeine crash on an empty stomach. But let's see. This is our last series. We can sing out the final series. Sport Crawler is done in time. No opening for the Oracle here. ShoWTimE is going to take the triangle. Obviously defending these ramps is very doable. Taking a fourth base on this map can be a bit awkward. Most of the time, I feel like you're gonna take the top side, but we've also seen people take this one. Triple Oracle this time around. First time actually that we see Triple Oracle as an opening. Unless I forgot, but I don't think I did. Reynor's just chilling. So far very clean. ShoWTimE's got a decent amount of adepts. He does not have resonating glaives, but this is still a serious number that you do have to respect a little bit as a Zerg. Reynor's done a really good job in keeping track of the Oracle movement. ShoWTimE is going to see the links as well. That's, I'd say, more than enough links. Activates Pulsar Beam here for a split second. Here come the adepts. Is ShoWTimE committing to the shade? The answer is yes. There is a lot of links and queens are within striking distance. Don't think we're going to get too many drones here. This would have maybe been a lovely moment for the Oracles to be elsewhere. A couple of adepts make it out. Good Evo Chamber block. Very, very good block here by Reynor. ShoWTimE might be able to get one or two extra workers, but that is it for now. Can the Oracles then do something? Maybe here in the natural, there are no queens here. And one spore against Triple Oracle turns around. Okay, we're getting stuff. Does he save all three? Yes. 8 drones in the end. Obviously, it wasn't like direct. It wasn't ultra early. We're 6 minutes into the game, but 8 is, I feel, very acceptable. Excited for RSL Group D on Sunday. On Sunday night, I'll be covering a couple of 2v2 games. As Juanito has asked me to cover something that he's doing for either his students or his coaching group, whatever it is exactly. So we'll be watching a couple of 2v2 games on the Sunday evening. He asked me to cover it, and I said I'll do it. I don't know what level it's going to be. I don't know if it's like lower or very high rank. I know it's not pro gamer stuff. So you can go from RSL into some 2v2. Oh, Reynor is just taking all the bases. Even dropping a hatchery in the bottom right side. But ShoWTimE is already here. Blink is almost done. Reynor is seconds away from +1 melee. He's got a lot of Hydras on the way, but they're obviously not quite here yet. It's always scary here as a Protoss because you don't know exactly how much the Zerg has. You don't want to get too carried away, but you also don't want to give him too much time. Reynor will start battling. That is a big old stasis, guys. That is the majority of the links that Reynor is currently working with. Reynor obviously does have transfused energy, activates another stasis scrappy. Queens are doing a really good job in buying time. The links are almost free. This Overseer is good for Reynor on the other side of the map. I think Reynor is barely able to save this hatchery in the end. That was a close call. This is actually nice because this is basically a force field for a little while. The Stalkers cannot go through. Gives Reynor the time to get some extra Hydras out. Triple Oracle goes. Could have maybe activated Pulsar Beam to dive on the Hydra and then the Queen, but I'm okay with ShoWTimE not doing that. No, I feel like it was okay for Reynor. Like, yeah, he lost a bunch of links, but he saved the base. And that was not a guarantee save, so I think he can live with it. Bleeding out a few extra links here. We do have the gold though, and ShoWTimE does not know yet that this gold is here. Oracles have not made it over to the bottom left side of the map. It's gonna be hard for Lairtech Zerg to get a lot done here initially, maybe down the line. But with the first push, without waning speed, I really don't think there is a lot we can get done. Reynor's is going to take out the rocks. Give himself a lot of different angles to potentially attack from. It's a serious amount of Banes, but 5 High Templars, some of them having multiple storms to work with. This Observer, by the way, is very, very important. That's going to give ShoWTimE at least a second or two extra to get ready for this. Floodgates are sort of open. That's a big fat storm into the Hydras. The links are just battling Zealots for now. It's very nice for ShoWTimE. But these links did not make it into the natural, did not make it into the main base. Extra Banelings show up. We have stasis traps. Plenty of stasis preppies to work with. One storm was a bit random, but it keeps the mineral line safe. ShoWTimE is seconds away from getting +2, and that's obviously going to make his life a little bit easier when it comes to fighting the army. When it comes to the Zealots doing their thing. With the Archons in range, a few more Banes, soak up some Zealots, or the other way around. ShoWTime's got a lot of gas. ShoWTimE is wondering, was that it? Are there no more Banelings? Can we finally just stand here and fight with the Archons, with the Zealots? Drop a infinite amount of storms. Seems like the Oracle died. Partly to a storm, mostly to the Hydras. I think ShoWTimE is actually running a little low on units. We have 14 gateways though. With 14 gates, you cannot imagine a world that we can't crank out enough units to survive. Reynor is a little bit richer than he should be because of that gold. It's close. If I was ShoWTimE, I would slow this down a little bit now. I'd actually go back and maybe use energy recharge, make sure that we have a few more storms, perhaps a rewall in the natural so we don't have to worry about 20 links running past. I also think that was pretty good defense in the end. A lot of Zerg wasn't easy, but ShoWTimE did a good job in keeping the core units safe for a little while. Also not clumping up too many Zealots that ran headfirst into Banelings. Reynor is not done. 80 workers against 80 workers, but obviously Reynor should be mining a little bit more because of the bottom left gold. High Templars are somewhat exposed, but the storms will keep them safe for now. Zealots going on a little journey on the right side, we'll keep an eye on that. For now it is full focus on the Hydra Link Bane versus the Archon Zealot Immortal Stalker. And lots of storms again to work with. Banelings do connect with the front Archons. Most of the Archons are gone. What can the Zealots do, guys? The Zealots might be able to finish this hatchery because it's nowhere near a full HP hatch. ShoWTimE seems to prioritize getting the Hydras, getting a fuel drone. Just got 2. 2 is not much. Yeah, I don't think that Lairtech Hydra Link Bane is going to cut it here for Reynor. Okay, this is massive. This is really, really big for ShoWTimE. As he sends 10 or so Zealots to the bottom left side. Reynor, his forces are pretty far away. Might just click on the hatchery and might just be able to kill it. There is a little bit of energy on this screen. I don't think that's enough to keep this hatchery alive before the real army shows up. That's a big one for ShoWTimE. That is a very, very big one. He is going to lose all the Zealots in the end, but not before at least getting a bunch of the links. So we get a hedge. Slow down the economy. Reynor have an infestation pit, guys. Reynor does not have an infestation pit. So he's very stuck to Lairtech. Yeah. Where do we send it? Where can we possibly crack open the strong defensive setup of ShoWTimE? The Hydra count is 22, Baneling count is 23. It's not like Reynor's got a horrible army, but I don't think it's the kind of army that can run into cannons, batteries, and defensive storms. We did not re-wall, but we do have a couple of cannons that will at least slim out the link numbers for a little bit. Good defensive warp in immediately. Zealots with these upgrades should be okay against the Zerglings. A lot of Banelings crashing into the Archons. Reynor just can't really keep on doing this. It's actually ShoWTimE who's still finding damage as well. Great Zealot activity. Not the first time in this game that ShoWTimE is able to sneak a couple Zealots to the other side of the map. And by the time that Reynor sees it, I don't want to say it's too late because he's dealing with it. But they already got something done. They're going to pull the main army back. Reynor now drops the infestation pit, but it's going to take a little while before it's done. ShoWTimE is going to try to get a 5th. That's not going to be that easy. But this is a serious army, guys. This is an incredibly serious army against a Lairtech Zerg. And it seems like, just like yesterday, we will close out by going to the rubber match. Unless Reynor can find a miraculous engagement. And can find a very clever way to get Banelings on top of all these High Templars. Should be impossible. Well, impossible is nothing, but it's going to be very difficult. Reynor doesn't even have a bank anymore. Historically, ShoWTimE Reynor is almost always good. I'm obviously not going to say that it's always been good, since they've both been around for almost 10 years at this point. ShoWTimE a little longer, but Reynor has been part of the highest level of StarCraft 2 for a very long time. So I'm sure they've had a couple of disappointing series, but more often than not, ShoWTimE versus Reynor is close, fun, competitive, and just exciting. And it comes down to the wire. Maybe a big fight over here as a couple of defensive storms go off. ShoWTimE has just done such a good job in splitting off some units and finding openings over and over again. I don't see what Reynor can do. Reynor truly needs a miracle, and I don't know if these miracles exist unless ShoWTimE makes a big mistake. I don't think there's anything this Zerg army can do. And the supplies is starting to show it, right? Reynor is dropping 20, 30, 40 supply, and the fight is not even really happening. These are just trades. Reynor does have Adrenal Glands on the way now, as Hive Tech has kicked in. Like, there's only one way that Reynor ever takes a good fight, and that is if he can take a fight without Storm. If he can somehow get on top of all the High Templars, there is a world that Hydras cook against Archons. ShoWTimE knows that he's got one job and one job only, and that is make sure that we never find ourselves without Storm. And as long as he does that, he's gonna be fine. Reynor no longer believes that that opportunity will ever present itself. GG, just like yesterday. Our final series of the day will go to distance. Is it you observing, Roddy? On my own stream, I'm always the one observing, yes. Unless I am truly AFK and I follow somebody else they're observing. Or I'm incredibly lazy and I'm letting you guys know that I'm following somebody else they're observing. But following an observer is not quite the same as having a dedicated observer. Because the camera like follows, so it doesn't really jump as quickly as it otherwise would. So most of the time it's me observing. 95% of the time. Everybody wins when we get a game 5. Then there has been a lot of winning in the Kung Fu Cup, mate. Because a lot of series have gone to distance. Whether it was a best of 3 going to distance or the best of 5. It's been fun. It's been very competitive so far. Across the board in various matchups. I'd say like we've covered 20, 25 games. Perhaps 3 or 4 short games. Everything else has been at least like 3, 4, 5 base. And difficult to call for a little while. A strong comeback by ShoWTimE, because it actually didn't look like this was really going anywhere after that second game and the way that that one played out. But the Demo is showing us that he's a survivor, he's a warrior, he's a fighter. That's what you get when there's no Clem and Serral. I mean, Clem has also played some competitive games for a while. Like if you think of the finals of the Stellar Cup, or Constellation Cup, that was close. Sure, the second best of 7 wasn't, but the first one was obviously favored towards Sound. I feel like Trigger put up a very good fight. Even Clem is starting to have some closer game piece. I don't know what the final map is going to be. What about when Hero faces Serral? Often very close, sometimes one-sided, but I feel we think back of Maestros of the game. Hero against Serral was fantastic, no? Think back of the second series at the Esports World Cup in 2024. That was fantastic too. Serral's had a couple of very decisive and one-sided victories over Hero, but they've also had some mega close series that could have truly gone down either way, and could have also ended in favor of Hero. Alright, one last game, and then I gotta go. I'm a little bit worried about the guy showing up soon, but obviously we made it this far. He's just gonna have to listen to me yap, and I'll let Vicky handle it. When do we get to see Serral again? Honestly, I think the first time you'll see Serral is going to be on a Serral stream. I expect this year to at least have 1 or 2 more Serral streams. So keep an eye on his Twitch channel. I don't think there are many online cups that Serral is going to be playing in until the year is over. How many finals did Serral lose when the opponent isn't Reynor? Well, definitely one against Clem. And I think another one against Clem. And didn't he lose again? Was that semifinals? Didn't he lose against Innovation back then in the WESG? I think that was a grand finals, no? In China. It's obviously a few. Not many, because Serral doesn't do a lot of losing, but it has happened. That was not Home Story Cup, that was Stay at Home Story Cup. I actually don't think that Serral ever lost a Home Story Cup Grand Finals. Because he lost, obviously, a Home Story Cup to Reynor, but that was quarterfinals or semis, whatever it was. When Stats beat Serral, that was kind of like the tail end of the COVID era, and that was a stay-at-home Story Cup. Where a couple of us were over in Germany. Like I know Lambo was there, I was there. Maybe Clem was there. A couple of the Frenchies, a couple of the Germans, but most of the gamers were still at home. And I think Serral was one of those gamers that was still at home. Top left side of 10,000 feet, our final game P of the day. I hope you guys had fun watching some Starcraft with me. I know this was a very action-packed little Thursday with RSL and the Kung Fu Cup, and I'm sure that wasn't all there was to it. There's always more, but it was fun. We saw some really good Starcraft. This is Reynor, representing Basilisk, bottom right side, representing Sentinels. It is a ShoWTimE. I smell food. That is the last thing I wanted to smell. Often players are so good that you remember their losses instead of their wins. Serral made that easy for a little while since all he did was win. Then the losses do stand out a little bit more than his wins. Since when you think of his wins, this is a whole laundry list, and when you think of his losses, you're like, I remember one. Yeah. Says a lot about Yona. It's not even just Grand Finals. Like Serral just didn't do a whole lot of losing, period. Not in online cups, not in offline cups. Very rarely did he go out earlier than a Grand Finals. I saw Huck was streaming Arc Raiders yesterday. Some of you guys were asking me about Arc Raiders and if I was going to play it, but I honestly had no idea what kind of a game it even was. Then I ended my stream and I saw Huck streaming some Arc Raiders. It looked beautiful, but I don't think it's my kind of game. I would like to try Beyond All Reason once, because honestly that seems very fun. It seems like kind of a social RTS. I'm sure that the first few hours are going to be very annoying because I'll be very lost and I have no idea what I'm doing, but maybe like once you get the hang of it, that honestly seems fun. And I know Thermal loves it, and I know Skillers loves it. They all speak very highly of the game. You don't think it's my kind of game? That makes me sad. It's another survivor shooter. Is it somewhat similar to like a PUBG, or is it completely different? I mean, Deadlock is technically FPS now, and I was a Deadlock goat, and I loved it. I used to play FPS when I was a kid. I can get into it. It's just, in the past for a while, I didn't really play any games because I spent so much time behind the PC every single day doing StarCraft stuff that the last thing that I wanted to do was play more games by the time I was done streaming. That's the main reason why I didn't play any FPSs in forever. But it's not that I hate FPS as a concept. I think it's kind of cool. Not very good at it, but I do think it's cool. Similar to StarCraft. I can see myself liking those games if I take my time to get familiar with how everything works and, you know, understand the concept. Even like Apex Legends, I can see myself liking it. I just never really gave it the time. Before I started streaming a long time ago, there was actually a small period of my life that I was incredibly addicted to Return to Castle Wolfenstein, the online multiplayer. Like, single player was kind of cool, but I played the multiplayer all day, every day, and I fucking loved it. Obviously, that's like almost 20 years ago, or maybe it was 20 years ago, but I was playing it all day, every day. Hello, Holy Squid. The Squid! Alright guys, game 5. Enough about games of the past or all those FPSs. If you guys are playing Arc Raiders, I hope it's fun. Maybe I'll give it a shot one day. I think Beyond All Reason is a little bit more likely. Before this year is over, I'd like to find 1 week where there is little Starcraft to get excited over and give that a real shot. +1 melee once more is going to be the opening here for Reynor. Reynor has a couple of links on the bottom left side. We might be able to grab like 2 workers here, so that is something. Maybe even 3 if we're very lucky. ShoWTimE is going to try to get lucky with his adepts on the other side of the map. Reynor needs to bring the links over quickly. It's going to hurt though. It's going to be -4 if not 5 drones. Is finding some probes on the other side of the map. Where did the adepts go? Just here? Okay, they're very dead. These adepts are very dead. Oh, that's actually massive. Wow. 5 probes. The links. Just a couple of links finding 5 probes on the other side of the map. I think a trade you'll gladly take if you're Reynor. From here on out, it is just the oracles that he has to worry about. Queen count is only 4. That does surprise me a little. It's going to be hard to deal with triple oracle when we only have 4 queens. Let's see who is advancing into the upper bracket final. I believe tomorrow, guys, around the same time, we'll continue the Kung Fu Cup. I'll take a look at Wikipedia, obviously, as soon as this series is over, if I've got the time for it, which should be fine. Cure is waiting in the upper bracket finals. We still have Classic alive in the lower bracket. We still have Hero too. We didn't get to see any Hero today, but lots of Protoss action to look forward to. And a Terran in the upper bracket final. I don't know what Binding of Isaac is. I've never played it and I've never even heard of it. Sounds cool. Ooh, that's a kill on the Spore, by the way. So that's not just the drone going down, that's the Spore going down as well. Let's go, Invisibles. Thank you so much, matey, for the 5 gifted subbies. I truly appreciate it. 7 minutes into 10,000 feet. Hey, David is there. Jacqueline is there. Oh my goodness. Lovely individual. Don't know the other 3, but welcome. And thank you, mate. I really appreciate it. There's a lot of feet here. 10k of them. What are you talking about, man? Why are you talking about my mom? What is happening here? You can make fun of me, but do not talk bad about my mommy. I will show no mercy. Oracle activates Pulsar Beam. There's a whole bunch of workers going down. Actually, I had dinner with my mom yesterday. It was amazing. I went all out, guys. I treated my mom to Burger King. Woo. There's a story behind it, guys. Normally, I would not take my mom to Burger King. But she was arriving with the metro, and apparently her car wasn't working. So we picked her up at the metro station, and then we went to Burger King. But we had to keep it very short because her little chihuahuas were waiting at home. We had to take care of those, so we had no time to go anywhere else, in my defense. Reynor fires up 5 Dropper Lords. 92 drones, by the way. Holy smokes. 92 is so many. We've lost 20 drones. So I don't know about the logic of losing 20 drones, still having 92 drones, but then also firing up Dropper Lord aggression. That seems like a lot. Can we justify it? Can we get away with it? Lings and Hydras might catch a couple of these Zealots here. Obviously, ShoWTimE, I'd say the real key to success in that previous game wasn't just the great defense, it were the fantastic counters, and Reynor just kind of kept missing it. That could have something to do, of course, with this being a relatively new map pool. I am sure that any of you guys that are playing ladder, whenever you start off with 7 or 9 new maps, you get dropped, whether it's by a War Prism or some Metavex or by Dropalords. You just never really know where it's coming from. And it might take Reynor a little while as well to become more familiar with the attack paths that certain Zealots will take to counter. The more games he plays on it, the more familiar he will start feeling on these maps. And the quicker he's going to shut that kind of stuff down. Of course, it goes two ways. I'm sure for ShoWTimE it also it's going to be a bit of a learning curve. He might have slightly more experience on these maps than Reynor, since we've been using them in some of the weekly cups, and ShoWTimE does play some weekly cups. Reynor almost never plays weekly cups. Well, once in a blue moon. But it's not as often as ShoWTimE. War Prism is going to get picked off by the Queen and Hydra support. We have a Ultralisk Cavern on the production tab. We've got a Great Aspire on the way. ShoWTimE, meanwhile, is firing up the mothership. Can the Lynx get something done here? I love the Archon near the cannons. I love the Storm as well. High Templar does die, but that is about going to be it. Few Zealots storming on top of the base in the top right side. He didn't commit with the Drop Lords, no. He fired them up, they were moving out, and the moment he saw the Zealots here, he clicked them back. So they're still out there somewhere. They're just chilling over here in the top right side. Decided to not really send it. Maybe it was just one big fake. Maybe that was part of the plan of like having a very high drone count and making sure that ShoWTimE stays at home is by making it seem like you're going to be the one who's aggressive. And if ShoWTimE can choose between attacking or defending, he will of course focus on the defense. And maybe Reynor felt by faking an attack like that, it is more likely ShoWTimE stays at home. And he can get away with his incredibly high drone count. Banelings connecting with Pylons and High Templars here, that's massive. Is this now a fight that the Hydras are willing to take? I don't see any additional storms, there's another attack happening here. Couple Banelings making it deep into this mineral line too. Reynor definitely finding some good success. And he has extra links showing up. Can he make his way through these 4 Archons? 2 of them die immediately. All 4 of them go down in the end. ShoWTimE definitely in trouble. Would love to repower these cannons, man. Reynor getting the Banelings to connect with not just High Templar, but the Pylons too. It's just massive. ShoWTimE is now recalling a couple of Stalkers, but this is not a position that Stalkers ever want to recall into. As Lynx with +2 melee and probably Adrenal Glands at this point are having a field day. Does not get the Nexus, but can't imagine that Reynor is not happy with what he got done there. Killed some probes, killed a lot of tech units, reset the Archon count, got some Immortals as well, I believe. Single one. And taking out all the cannons and the batteries is just big. I kind of feel that if I was Reynor, I wouldn't necessarily go for this base again. I think my first next big attack is going to be here, because he also took care of a couple of the cannons and batteries. And while ShoWTimE is going to move most of his forces to defend the bottom left side, that's when I would finish the job on the right. Gonna use the Lynx on hold position. Here come the Ultras, here come Corruptors as well. And that base is mega dead. I don't know if it's worth mining out the mineral patches. Is Reynor gonna send it? Well, he's got tanky as Ultras. Skyless plating is done. Time Warp goes down. Corruptors doing their thing. Can we get the mothership quickly? We're gonna get it, I guess, eventually. But, well, with ShoWTimE's armies, I feel like it just deals no DPS. Don't have the crazy high Archon count anymore. We don't have too many Immortals. We've got 2 of them. Loses 22 probes. Probably another Zergling Baneling run by at the bottom. Or it was a single leftover Ultra. Really is starting to look like Reynor got away with a murder when it comes to that 92 drone count. ShoWTimE lost a few too many units. That Rico in the end wasn't one of it. Honestly, if ShoWTimE, instead of having all the cannons and batteries here, if those cannons and batteries were a bit more spaced out and you've got pylon, I think that initial fight goes a lot better. But it is a Reynor who will get the W in the end in his best of 5. Really fun, close, competitive series, per usual, between these two gamers. And Reynor will advance into the upper bracket finals to play against Cure tomorrow. Take a little look at it. And that is going to do it for me today, guys. I am so hungry. I'm a bit lightheaded, but let's take a look at what we have. Is it tomorrow or is it the next day? It's not tomorrow, so I already lied. Tournament for Reynor will continue on the 15th, but tomorrow we do have a couple series, and that is Gubbio versus Mana. Honestly, that has a lot of potential. I think that's going to be really fun. We've got ShoWTimE Hero, and then we have the winner of Gubbio Mana versus Classic. So, and this is the next day. So tomorrow, 3 best of 5s. We are gonna start at 1 p.m. I assume, right? Yep. 1 p.m. CET, so 7 a.m. on the East Coast, 4 a.m. on the West Coast. Gubbio Mana first series. After that, ShoWTimE Hero. After that, Classic versus the winner of Gubbio Mana. If you play Protoss, you're going to have a really good time tomorrow. If you play Terran, you'll probably have some fun, because Gubbio is always really cool to watch. If you play Zerg, I guess I'll see you on the 15th. That's probably what it will be. Take a look at RSL too. If you guys don't want any RSL spoilers, don't listen, don't look. What have we got tomorrow in the RSL? Actually, I won't spoil anything of Group A. But we do have RSL tomorrow as Classic Creator Trigger Cure. That starts at 11, so that's actually 2 hours before the Kung Fu Cup starts. You guys can always start off by watching all the RSL games, and as soon as that's over, watch a little bit of Kung Fu Cuppy. Alright, that will do it. I am, as I said, a bit lightheaded. I'm feeling a little out of it. Wow, we have so many people watching, by the way. That's awesome. Welcome, guys. Gamers. I didn't know.